lines, and the words keep going around, and there are only 5 endwords, and they go round and round and round and round. It's like being in a whirlpool or being in a spin drive or something. So you enter this whirlpool, and you kind of have to come out the other side of it. And it's after an American poet called Theodore Rathke, who wrote a poem called I Knew a Woman Lovely in Her Bones. When she moved more ways than one.
Can I have a whiskey?
Several words. Can you guarantee to keep doing that? Okay, it goes fast, it's 65 lines, and it goes like this. When she moved more ways than one. But that's just movement, as the cat performs. Beauty enough for cats, for anyone. Because a movement can be more than one, and several was how they spent the day. And she was several, far more than one. Just more perhaps of one than anyone in terms of movement. Nothing standing still for long enough, though they themselves stood still while moving on, refusing just the one mode of movement or fixity of place. And so they kept on moving place to place. And this is where they were. This was the place where she was moving. Every movement one with the next, each fitting into place, then shifting on, discarding sense of place. And he stood by, seeing her grace performs itself, and knows its place beyond the place provided for it, never the perfect place. You love the many, and you love the one, but many may be focused into one. You want the thing, you want it in a place, you want it how you want it, to be still, as poised he thought, and constant as it's still in movement, loving all that remains still in her sense of being in a place, not of it. And the sense he made was still a point of stillness, and her being still. So when she moved, it was more ways than one, he noted, as she moved by being still. One might move so and yet remain quite still, he said. It's life that holds her and performs the daily rituals she herself performs, and she performs herself beyond the one still movement or performance in a day that moves past her and will not spare a day. But this was where she moved. It being day she moved through, as though perfectly at one with day, and it with her, day after day, with nights to come, the body of the day turning to sleep, an image in the place they lay and moved in a dream of day, working its way through body and the day, as though her body, his dream, and day were one. Most time is timeless. Time knows only one mode of being, rushing through the day, ticking off items. The functions it performs, performable, but not what she performs. They were, he thought, what permanence performs, when permanence is saved for just one day. So day performs. So anything performs itself by moving, being what performs, because performance is like standing still while moving. And so everything performs, movement, stillness, whatever things performs what happens. And it happens in this place. All that, the whole being only the place she moves in, and by moving it, performs. So she, he thought, must clearly be the one who holds the movement still, as if at one with both the stillness and the movement. One moment here or there, then the whole place. Her body moved, and then she stopped quite still, still as the world compacted into day, her several parts, and all that day performs. This is another postcard poem. It's just a reverse side, and it's called 33 Propositional Stories. That's to say, they are all the beginnings of possible fairy stories, and you'll see they come in groups of 3. None of them adds up to be a story as such, but they all look as though they might be stories. So here you go, so groups of 3. The little boy who escaped from the house became a serpent. The little boy entered the house of the witches and sat there transfixed. The little boy was a guest at the feast of the pudding. Meanwhile, back in the house the pots were boiling. Meanwhile the witches spoke the word of power. Meanwhile the peasants jostled at the wedding. Came there a maiden in the brilliance of her garments. Came there the raven in his black tie and cape. Came there the bridegroom with his retinue. Nothing disturbed the long night of the suitors. Nothing disturbed the scattering of the guests. Nothing disturbed the cook in his reverie. The light streamed in through the carriage window. The light was a gift of the imperious Godhead. The light ran wild in the forest, as if in pure panic. It was not the intervention for which they had prayed. It was not the end of the day, nor quite the morning. It was not altogether clear where they were to meet. The messengers declared the nature of their mission. The messengers wore gold braid and frogging. The messengers were summarily executed. Soon it was winter and the trees bent in sorrow. Soon it was winter and the abbey was deserted. Soon it was winter, a time of fire and gifts. Their dreams were disastrous. Things were collapsing. Their dreams were not to be trusted. Their dreams could betray them. Their dreams were the last haunt of witches and weddings. Sounded the trumpet. They woke. It was morning. Sounded the trumpet. The cockerel was dancing. Sounded the trumpet in the far distance. Also they thought. The little boy was a full-grown man at last. The little boy had come into his estate. The little boy told the story of his becoming. I like these canzonets, there are a number of them, and I like working in groups. This is from a series called Minimenta. They're named after the great artist, I think he's a great artist, Anselm Kiefer, who constructed these great statues called a monumenta, enormous concrete and rubbish and rubble